and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Charmaine, and today we are doing the book review for One of Us Is Next by Karen M. McManus. I don't have my copy here, so I put my hand here, and hopefully I'll share a cover photo. I don't know though. Okay, so I missed last week telling you guys the questions, but I did post in my community tab that Taylor had put up the video, just so you know. I'm really working like a hectic couple of weeks here, so I'm all over the place. Like, I have to go to work in like an hour, so I'm filming this like right before work kind of thing. So anyways, we're gonna get into this. I'm very excited. I enjoyed the book so much. Because Taylor read it in like a day and a half, so every time something was happening, I would text her and I would be like, oh my gosh, this is it! Oh my gosh, this is it! So I had many theories on who it was, and none of them were right. Spoiler alert. Oh yes, by the way, spoiler alert, actually, if you have not read the book and you do not want to hear what happens in the book, this is talking about the book, so I am going to be giving away a whole bunch of spoilers. I'm just putting that out there now. So, you know, if you can't be here, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in the next one. Okay, so number one is, what did you think of the writing style, switching between characters and reading from different points of views? Which character did you find the most compelling narrator and why? So I actually like the different style of like character writing. It kind of reminds me of watching a TV show, if that makes sense. Because like, I don't know, you see it like somebody goes off and does their own thing and you see like the camera kind of following them. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. Plus you get like a different backstory from each side, like Maeve's backstory, you get Knox's backstory, Phoebe's backstory, stuff like that. So like the main characters, they all had like their backstory kind of thing, where you could figure out like more about their lives, like their parents, their relationships, that kind of thing, and like what they did outside of school and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. The most compelling narrator, oh, maybe Phoebe. I think Phoebe might have been my favorite, actually. I did not write down like the answers at all. I just have the questions here. So there might be a couple of times where I'm like, but that's what's happening. Okay, so number two is, what character did you relate to and why? I would probably go with Maeve. She had like health problems and she didn't want to talk about it because she didn't want like her health issues to be back. And I feel that a lot. Like, I have 2 autoimmune diseases. Now I've had the heart attack because of COVID and like all of this kind of stuff. And I like, if there's like something else that comes up, I'm just gonna be like, nah, no thanks, I'm not in for this. So I understand her just wanting to be like, I'm gonna ignore this for a little while, because honestly, it's a lot. Like, so I understand why she's like, I'm just gonna ignore this for a little while and hopefully it's fine, you know, until Nate finds out, and then he's like, dude, you gotta tell your parents. Like, because I mean, she had leukemia, so like her health stuff is very serious as well, so she needs to deal with it as fast as she can, kind of thing. So I think Maeve was the one that I related to the most. Number 3 is, were there times when you disagreed with a character's actions, and what would you have done differently? When Emma's drinking a lot, that's Phoebe's sister, and Phoebe knows that she's drinking a lot because like she's hiding alcohol, she has it in their room, she's passed out all the time, she's skipping school. Like, she's way different than she is normally. That's when I would have been like, you gotta tell your mom. Or like, at least tell like Maeve and like Knox and them to like see if they, I mean, I don't know. Don't tell your friends when you're a teenager that this is like, because that's something pretty serious. Like, she's going from being like an A student and never missing school and everything being like as good as she can. Like, she's studying all the time and all of this stuff. And then she's skipping school. She's drinking all the time. She's passed out all the time. She's vomiting. Like, she almost died. So like, that stuff she should have taken care of. Like, she should have talked to her mom about it, because I know that her mom is busy and there's a lot going on in their family, but that's one of the things, like, she should have stepped up and talked to her mom about it, even though her sister said don't. That kind of thing. So number 4 is, what surprised you the most about the book? Why, and were there significant plot twists and turn? Okay, so I, a million times when I was texting Taylor, changed who I thought did it. At first I was like, it's Manny, because he's at the restaurant so he can hear everybody talking. Because they all go to this restaurant, they all talk at this restaurant, and Manny was there. But he doesn't work there all the time. And I was like, okay, it's definitely him. It's Manny for sure. Because he's like overhearing the conversations, and he's kind of like he doesn't really want to work, and he's kind of like a jokester and everything like that. So I thought maybe it was him. It was not. So that one was like a surprise kind of thing. The person who did it surprised me a lot. Like, not the original, like the main person, but like the backstory to it, which, do we get to that, or am I allowed to talk about it now? We have like one more question, so I'll get to that then. But yeah, so and the significant plot points, twists, and turns were when so Phoebe is at the mall with Knox, and then she drives away, and Knox goes to go to work, and I texted Taylor and I was like, Knox is hurt, there's something wrong. And that's where I was in the book when it happened. And she's like, how did you know that he's hurt? And I was like, because Phoebe's driving and there's like an ambulance behind her or whatever, like she has to pull over. And then I was like, and Knox was at that construction site. He was taking his little shortcut there in his construction site, and that's how he got hurt. So that point, I was like, that's a pretty significant plot twist. Plus also like the guy who actually ran the Truth or Dare game, like I'm shocked about that. That didn't like occur to me at all. I mean, I guess like it couldn't have been somebody who was actually at the school, I guess, because it's pretty intense. Like it's way like One of Us is Lying. They had like the good plot twist with like Simon setting up his death, but One of Us is Next. It's like an entirely different like plot twist kind of game thing. I did not, yeah, it was too intense for me, honestly. Number 5 is, what did you think of Bronwyn and Nate's romance in the novel since they were on and off? That's fine. I mean, my boyfriend and I were on and off for quite a while. Like, I don't know, 5 years on and off kind of thing. So, I mean, it's fine. Stuff happens. Also, they're long distance and they're not, like, with each other all the time. And long distance relationships are hard. Like, if you've ever been in one, you know. They're hard. You don't see each other. You don't talk all the time. I mean, it's much easier now with texting. But, like, when I was younger, if I was in high school, we didn't have phones and stuff like that. So, like, I wouldn't have been talking to my long distance if I had one kind of thing. So, number 6 is, at any point in the book, did you have an idea who was running the Truth or Dare game? If yes, what was the key clue that gave it away? I did not. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. I thought it was Manny because he was at the restaurant all the time, so he could hear, like, their secrets. Because, like, the only people, like, Maeve has a secret, and she's like, but I only told it to Bronwyn, but they were at the restaurant when she said it, right? And then there was a couple of other things where they were, like, at the restaurant, and that's the only time they talked about it. So I totally thought that it was Manny, and he was just, like, kind of being a jerk. Because, like, you know, I don't know why. He's not a jerk in the book. Like, I just thought that he was being a jerk. But he's not a jerk in the book. So then it ends up being, like, a brother of somebody who went to jail that Eli tried to help. And Eli's, like, the lawyer. So it ended up being, like, Eli helped the guy, or put him in jail. It was one of those two. And the brother of that guy who's in jail now is the one who set up this, like, game. And then it's Emma, who's Phoebe's sister, like, helped, and then the guy, Brandon, ends up dying, and she's like, oh no, I can't be a part of this anymore. And then it ends up being their little brother who did it. So their little brother pretended that he was Phoebe. Well, originally Emma pretended that she was Phoebe talking to this guy, and then the little brother, like, after the Brandon dies by accident, or I mean, like, not accident, like, honestly, this guy set it up, like, he was a little, you know. So Brandon ends up passing away by like, not accident, but, you know, it happened. And then Phoebe was the one who, like, didn't know anything about it, but Emma was pretending to be Phoebe. And then their little brother, I think his name was Wyatt, they ended up, he ended up talking to the guy and, like, making the game continue. Or was it before then? Something like that anyways. So, yeah, once the accident happens and then, like, this guy goes and gets a bomb and he's gonna, like, blow them all up and everything. It's insane. Like, this book was so good. I understand why Taylor read it in 2 days, because it's a really good book and it's very, like, fast-paced. Also, another thing that I loved about the chapters, like, being told by different people is I use my little annotation tabs. So my book is very colorful. I don't have it up here or else I would show you guys, but it's like rainbow across the top. It's really cute. I like it. I'll try and remember to put a photo so you guys can see it. And then so yeah, I had no clue until just before they said that Emma was the person. Like, I mean, 2 pages before. I'm not even kidding. Like, it was not halfway through the book. I totally thought it was Manny for a while, and I was like, maybe it's not Manny, maybe it's Louise. Like, I kept switching who, like, I thought it was, kind of thing. And then I was at, like, really, really close. I was like, oh, it's Emma. But, like, the next page, they're like, and it's Emma. Like, so I was not close at all figuring it out. But that's okay. I'm, like, not really fast on, like, the uptake on books, so that's cool. Number 7 is, what do you think of the main character's parents? How do their relationships with their parents impact their experiences in this novel? I'll be 1 sec. Okay, so the main character's parents, I think that Maeve's parents were really supportive, but because of all her health scares, they're like pretty overprotective, which I mean is understandable. That makes sense. For Phoebe and Emma's mom, I felt really bad for her because her husband passed away. He was like hurt in an accident at work, and she didn't get as much as she should have for the settlement. And then she's trying to start her own business, and she has 3 kids, and she's trying to do everything. So she's like a very like overworked, not really present mom because she's busy and she can't do everything. And then for Knox's parents, I felt bad for Knox because his dad seems like a jerk like the entire book until the very end. But I think, and like his mom's a lawyer, so his mom does lawyer stuff, and like he overhears some stuff that he's not supposed to hear because it's about like the case and everything like that. So like they're both kind of like, both of his parents are kind of closed off. His dad's like doing an investigation into Brandon's accident and like what happened. So they're just both really closed off, and they're like, his mom is more like patient, but she's technical almost, if that makes sense. And then his dad is like kind of bossy and demanding, and like, I don't know, Knox thinks he wants like a different kind of son. Like if he had been like a sports guy, it would have been better kind of thing. And Knox isn't in sports, that kind of thing. So their relationship is kind of strained. I understand Phoebe's mom. My mom was a single mom for like quite a while, so I understand that. And then Maeve's parents were overprotective. So that's like the main ones that I thought of. So I do think that like their parents helped with the character development and like understanding the background of like the characters that are in the book. Okay, and then for our last question, we have, who would you cast in the main roles? You guys know that we do that like every single book now, and it's awesome. I love it, honestly. So I looked up some people and I took some photos and then I wrote down who they are. So for Phoebe, who's our first one, it's Nicola, I think it's Coughlin. She's in Bridgerton. She plays Penelope in Bridgerton. That's who I kind of thought in my mind that she would be good at playing Phoebe, because she's also on this show called Dairy Girls, and she can play a good kind of like sister, ditzy, comedian kind of character. And I think that Phoebe probably would have been like more comedian-ish if she didn't have like her dad pass away and all of that kind of stuff. Like I think that she would have been more of like a comedian kind of girl. So I think that that Nicola girl would suit her. Then for Jules, I have Leah Lewis. She was in Nancy Drew, which I love that Nancy Drew show. Oh my gosh, I wish they still had that on. It was such a good show. But she was in Nancy Drew. I see her as like a girl who is not popular but would try and be popular, and I could see her like kind of be like taking the guy's side, because she ends up getting together with Sean after the Brandon like accident, and like her and Sean are really inseparable, and then she stops talking to Phoebe, and she's been friends with Phoebe for like her whole entire life, so it's really hard on Phoebe as well if that happened. So I think she would be good at that, because I think that she could play like a good mean bad girl, even though it's not like a mean bad girl scenario, if that makes sense. Then for Ebba, I have Abigail Cohen. She was in Sabrina and Fate, the Wicks saga. So I saw her in Sabrina. It's like the new Sabrina, not like the one from like the 90s where it had Melissa Joan Hart in it, but like the new Netflix version. I only watched it a couple of times, but she's in it, and I think that she would play a good Emma. She seems like she would be very like bookish and smart, but you could definitely see like the dark twist where she like becomes an alcoholic and like is skipping school and like does bad things to like get revenge kind of thing. Because Phoebe also like slept with her boyfriend. Like I think they were broken up, but Phoebe slept with her boyfriend, and Emma knew about it for a long time, and then she like took a long time to get revenge, kind of thing. Then there's Luis, and I picked Felix Mallard. He was in Lock and Key. He actually like played the bad guy partially in Lock and Key, because the bad person in Lock and Key was like a shapeshifter. They could change like their look and everything. But I thought that he would be a really good Luis, because he has really good like long hair. I don't know why, but like in my mind I was like, oh, that's Luis. So yeah, that's who I'm going with. Then for Brandon, I have Jacob Elordi. I don't know how to say his last name, but he's in The Kissing Booth. I mean, yeah, for Brandon, that's what I said. He's in The Kissing Booth. He seems like a jock guy. He seems like he would be like a football dude. And that's just why I picked him. Like, that's as close as I could think of. And then for Knox, I have Aubrey Joseph. He was in Cloak and Dagger. And I think that he would be a very good, like, computer fastidious. That's, like, kind of picky kind of guy. Like, he'd understand computers, be book smart, like, stuff like that, and not really into sports. I mean, like, even though, like, Knox is not really into sports, the actor, I think, would probably be into sports, but that's who I picked as my Knox person. So I will try and remember, like, I will try and put pictures of them up to the side here and not right on top of my face like I did last time. I only had one. Most of them I moved to the side, and then there's one where I'm just, like, talking about her, and her face is, like, right over my face, and I'm like, close enough. I mean, I only kind of know how to edit. So please let me know what you think about this book. I cannot wait to see what Taylor says, honestly. This was such a good book. We do have the book club poll. I think it's probably going to end tomorrow. I'm going to talk to Taylor about it, but I think it's probably going to end tomorrow. So if you did not vote for, like, May's read, please go over there and vote for it, because that's what we're going to be voting for May. And then in June, it's our 1-year anniversary of book club. So I'm super pumped. I don't know what we're going to pick. I'm going to talk to Taylor. Maybe we'll do, like, a theme one. Like, because it's also Pride Month, so maybe we'll do, like, a LGBTQ plus book, because that's actually what we started with. So that would be kind of cool. So maybe I'll talk to Taylor about that and see what she thinks. Okay, so please check out my description box for other content creators. Thank you guys so much for spending a couple minutes of your day with me today. I really, really appreciate that, and I really, really appreciate you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!